I stared at my phone screen, reading the message for the third time. Hey, been thinking about you. Coffee. Ryan. After 5 years of silence, my thumb hovered over the delete button, but I couldn't press it. David was in Seattle for 3 days. The apartment felt too quiet, too empty. We'd barely spoken before he left, just a quick kiss and see you Thursday. Just coffee. I whispered to myself. What's the harm? My phone buzzed. Melissa, hey girl, wine night at my place. I should say yes. I should spend the evening with my best friend, not texting my ex. But my fingers were already typing a response to Ryan instead. Sure, where? 3 dots appeared immediately. He'd been waiting. Hotel Meridian Bar, 8 p.m. I glanced at the clock. 2 hours. Enough time to shower, change. Looked like I hadn't spent all day thinking about this. Melissa called before I could respond to Ryan. So, wine night? She asked. Actually, I'm pretty tired. Rain check. You okay? You sound weird? Just a long day at work. I think I'll just order takeout and watch Netflix. The lie came easily, too easily. All right, and Melissa said, doubt creeping into her voice. Call me if you need anything. I hung up and typed back to Ryan. See you at 8. My heart was racing. This was innocent, just 2 old friends catching up, nothing more, but as I stood in the shower letting hot water wash over me, I knew I was lying to myself. I picked out a dress I hadn't worn in months. David said it was too revealing for a married woman. I applied makeup carefully, the way I used to when Ryan and I first dated. When I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. I looked alive, excited, dangerous. I grabbed my keys and headed out, ignoring the wedding photo on our mantel, the one where David and I looked so happy, so certain about forever. That version of me felt like a stranger now. The hotel bar was dimly lit, jazz playing softly in the background. Ryan sat at a corner table, and when he saw me, his face lit up with that smile I'd never quite forgotten. Emma, he stood, pulling me into a hug that lasted a second too long. You look incredible. You too. I slid into the seat across from him, my hands already shaking. Wine, he asked, signaling the waiter. Red, whatever you're having. The waiter poured 2 glasses and Ryan raised his. To old friends, I echoed, clinking my glass against his. The wine was smooth, expensive. We talked about safe things at first. His photography career, my marketing job. But the second glass loosened my tongue. So you're married now, Ryan said, glancing at my ring. Happy. I should have said yes. I should have shown him photos of David and told him how lucky I was. Instead, I heard myself say, it's complicated. Ryan leaned forward. Complicated how? He works all the time. We're like roommates who occasionally sleep together. I can't remember the last time we actually talked about something that mattered. That's not a marriage, Emma. That's just existing. The waiter brought whiskey. I didn't remember ordering it, but I drank it anyway. When we were together, Ryan said, his voice dropping lower, you never looked bored. You looked alive. We were young, everything felt intense. And now, his hand covered mine on the table. How do you feel now? I should have pulled away. Instead, my fingers intertwined with his. Lost, I admitted. I feel lost. You deserve more than comfortable, Emma. You deserve passion. You deserve to feel wanted. The alcohol blurred everything. My judgment, my morals, the vows I'd made 6 years ago. Come upstairs, Ryan whispered, just to talk. It's too loud down here. I knew what just to talk meant. I knew exactly where this was going, but I stood anyway, following him to the elevator, watching the numbers climb. 3, 4, 5, taking me further from the woman I promised David I would be. The hallway was empty. Ryan's hand found my waist as he unlocked the door to room 512. I stepped inside, and the door closed behind us with a soft click that sounded like a verdict. I don't know who kissed who first. It didn't matter. His hands were in my hair, mine pulling at his shirt, and suddenly we were falling onto the bed. Every touch felt like going back in time. I was 26 again, reckless and free, not a 32-year, old married woman betraying everything she'd built. God, I've missed this. Ryan breathed against my neck. I've missed you. I didn't respond. If I spoke, I might remember David. I might remember our wedding vows, his mother's toast, the way he'd held me when my own mother died. So I stayed silent, losing myself in the moment, pretending consequences didn't exist. Hours blurred together. The room was dark, except for the city lights filtering through the curtains. Ryan fell asleep around 11:30, his arm draped across my waist. That's when reality crashed back. What had I done? I reached for my phone on the nightstand, and my stomach dropped. 3 missed calls, all from David. My hands trembled as I dialed back, each ring feeling like a countdown to my own destruction. Emma, David's voice sounded strange, tired, worried. Hey, sorry, I was. I looked at Ryan sleeping beside me and felt bile rise in my throat. I was at Melissa's girls' night. My phone was on silent. I tried calling you at the apartment first. Right, yeah, I'm at her place. Is everything okay? Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. The Seattle meeting got canceled. David finally said, Technical issues with the client's presentation. I'm heading home tonight. The room started spinning. Tonight, I thought you weren't back until Thursday. I'm at the airport now. I'll be home in about an hour. I thought I'd surprise you. Maybe we could, Emma. Are you okay? You sound weird. No. I mean, yes, I'm fine. Just surprised. That's great, honey. I'll head home now. I hung up before he could ask more questions. Ryan, I shook his shoulder. Ryan, wake up. I have to go. He groaned, checking his watch. It's not even midnight. Stay a little longer. My husband is coming home early. I have to leave now. Ryan sat up slowly, annoyance flickering across his face. So that's it. Back to your boring life. I was already pulling on my clothes, hands shaking so badly I could barely button my dress. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have. Relax, Emma. It's not like he knows. But he might, he could. I grabbed my purse and ran. The drive home was a blur of panic and speed limits I definitely broke. I practiced my story out loud. I was at Melissa's, we watched movies, we lost track of time. I pulled into our apartment building's parking garage at 12:47 a.m. David's car was already there. My heart stopped. He'd said an hour. He should have just left the airport. Unless he'd lied, unless he already knew. I sat in my car, frozen, watching our apartment window on the 4th floor. The lights were on. He was waiting for me. I walked through our apartment door at 12:53 a.m., rehearsing my lies one last time. David sat on the couch, still wearing his business suit. His face was completely blank. Hey, honey. My voice came out too loud, too cheerful. I didn't expect you back so. Where were you, Emma? His tone stopped me cold, quiet, controlled. Dangerous, I told you. Melissa's place. We were watching movies and I called Melissa. The world tilted. She said she hasn't seen you in a week. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. David stood slowly, and I saw something breaking behind his eyes. I came home early because I missed you, because I realized I've been neglecting my wife, working too much. I wanted to surprise you. He laughed, a bitter sound. I brought your favorite Thai food. I had this whole romantic evening planned. David, I can't explain. But you weren't here, so I waited, and while I waited, I did something I've never done in 6 years of marriage. He pulled out his phone. I checked our phone records online. My blood turned to ice. You called a number 17 times this past week. Same number texted you twice today. I looked it up. His voice cracked. Ryan Matthews, your ex-boyfriend. David, tell me I'm wrong, Emma. His hands were shaking now. Tell me you weren't with him tonight. Tell me you weren't fucking your ex-boy. Friend, while I was flying home to surprise my wife, the lie died on my tongue. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. He staggered backward like I'd hit him. Oh God, oh my God, you actually. It didn't mean anything. It was stupid and where? His voice was barely a whisper. Where were you with him? A hotel, but David, please, which hotel? Why does that matter? Which hotel? He was yelling now, something I'd never heard him do. The Meridian. He nodded slowly, tears streaming down his face. The Meridian, where we celebrated our first anniversary. Where I told you I wanted to spend my life with you. I'd forgotten. Oh God, I'd forgotten. David, I made a mistake. I was lonely and confused and lonely. He laughed again, that horrible broken sound. I was lonely too, Emma. I was working 70-hour weeks to make partner at the firm so I could give you the life you wanted, the house you wanted, the vacations you wanted. I never asked for that. I asked for you. And I asked for a faithful wife. His phone rang, loud in the sudden silence. He looked at the screen. It's my mother calling about Sunday dinner. Don't answer it. Please, let's just talk. He answered anyway, his eyes locked on mine. Hi, Mom. His voice was eerily calm. No, we won't be making it to Sunday dinner. Actually, we won't be making it to any more family dinners. A pause. Because Emma cheated on me. She spent a night fucking her ex-boyfriend. I heard Grace's shocked gasp through the phone. David, please, I reached for him. He moved away from my touch like I was poison. I need to go, Mom. I'll call you tomorrow. He hung up and looked at me with eyes that held nothing but devastation. I want you out of this apartment, tonight. This is my home. Your name isn't on the lease. I bought this place before we met. Remember, just like I bought the car you've been driving. Just like I paid for everything because you wanted to save for our future. The prenup, the stupid prenup I'd signed without really reading, because I'd been offended he'd even asked for one. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care, Emma. Go back to the hotel. Go to Ryan. Go to hell. Just get out of my sight. I can't. His voice broke. I can't look at you right now. David, I love you. Get out. I grabbed my purse with trembling hands and walked to the door. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry. So am I, he said quietly. I'm sorry I wasn't enough. I'm sorry I wasted 6 years on someone who could do this. The door closed behind me with a finality that sounded like the end of everything. I spent the night in my car parked outside Melissa's building, too ashamed to knock on her door. Too ashamed to exist. When morning light finally came, I looked at myself in the rear-view mirror. Makeup smeared down my face. Eyes swollen nearly shut. Still wearing last night's dress. I looked like exactly what I was, a woman who destroyed her life in one night. At 7 a.m., I finally worked up the courage to go upstairs. Melissa opened the door in her pajamas, took one look at me, and I saw her face change from confusion to horror. Emma, what did you do? She pulled me inside. I collapsed on her couch and told her everything. Melissa didn't say a word until I finished. Then she exploded, "Are you insane?" She was pacing, her voice getting louder with each word. David is the best thing that ever happened to you. He's loyal, he's kind, he adores you. And Ryan is a narcissistic user who's dumped every woman he's ever dated the second someone younger comes along. I know. Do you? Because you just threw away 6 years of marriage for what? One night of feeling wanted. You are wanted, Emma. David wants you. He's just been working hard to build a future for you both. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This is betrayal. This is... She stopped, staring at me. Oh my God, David called me last night asking if you were here. I told him no. I didn't think anything of it, but he was checking your alibi, wasn't he? I nodded, fresh tears spilling over. He knows, and he's going to leave you. You know that, right? David doesn't forgive cheating. His father cheated on his mother, remember? It destroyed their family. I'd forgotten that, too. How could I have forgotten? What am I going to do, Mel? I don't know. Her voice was cold now. You need to figure out what you want. Do you want your marriage? Because if you do, David needs space, and you need to figure out why you did this. Therapy. Serious therapy. Will you help me? She looked away. You can stay today, shower, change clothes, but Emma, I don't know if I can watch you cry over consequences you brought on yourself. I spent the day calling David. 23 times, he didn't answer once. At 5 p.m., I drove to our apartment. David was at work, but the door was unlocked. Half my clothes were packed in boxes by the entrance. My toiletries, my books. Everything neatly boxed up like I'd never existed there. No explanation. Just boxes. My phone rang. David's brother, Thomas. How could you? His voice was shaking with rage. David called me this morning in tears. In tears, Emma. I've never heard my brother cry. Thomas, please. He gave you everything. Our whole family loved you, and you cheated on him with your ex. What kind of person does that? I don't know. I sobbed. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, figure it out and stay away from my brother. You've done enough damage. He hung up. My phone buzzed with a text. Grace, I thought you were different. I was wrong. Another text. Jennifer from work. Is it true? How did she know already? Who told her? I tried calling Ryan once, twice, 3 times, voicemail every time. The man I'd destroyed my marriage for couldn't even answer his phone. I sat in my car, surrounded by boxes of my life, and realized I'd sacrificed everything for absolutely nothing. 2 weeks later, I was living on Melissa's couch, and my life was unraveling faster than I could process. David filed for divorce, no separation, no counseling, just done. His lawyer sent me the prenuptial agreement I'd signed 6 years ago. I'd been so offended when David asked for it, but his financial advisor insisted. Now I understood why. The apartment was his. The car was his. I'd even merged my savings into his investment account 2 years ago, thinking we were building our future together. I was entitled to nothing. Emma, you need to find a place, Melissa said one morning, her voice strained. My lease doesn't allow long-term guests. I'm looking. I lied. I couldn't afford anything. My paychecks barely covered my student loans and credit card debt. Work became unbearable. Jennifer had somehow spread the news, and now I was the cheater. I saw the whispers, the judgment in everyone's eyes. Mr. Harrison called me into his office. Emma, I'm concerned about your performance. Your marketing presentation last week was substandard, and 3 clients have complained about delayed responses. I'm sorry, I've been dealing with personal issues, I understand, but this is affecting the company. I need you focused. Can you do that? Yes, absolutely. But I couldn't. I was falling apart, and everyone could see it. 3 weeks after that night, Ryan finally called back. Hey, Em. Sorry I've been MIA. Things got crazy with a shoot in Morocco. His casual tone made me want to scream, Ryan, my marriage is over. I lost everything. Whoa. Emma, that night was fun, but I thought we both understood it was just, nostalgia, closure. I'm actually seeing someone now. Met her on the Morocco shoot. She's great. The line went dead before I could respond. I sat staring at my phone, understanding the full, devastating scope of my stupidity. I destroyed my marriage for a man who saw me as a one night stand. That afternoon, Melissa's sister Sophie stopped by. Oh, Emma, you're still here. She looked uncomfortable. Listen, I saw David yesterday at that coffee shop on 5th Street. My heart clenched. Was he okay? He was. With someone, a woman. They looked pretty cozy. The room tilted. What did she look like? Brunette, really pretty. Interior designer, I think. I've seen her work featured in magazines. Sarah, her name was Sarah Mitchell. I looked her up after Sophie left, scrolling through her Instagram in masochistic detail. She was beautiful, talented, successful, everything I wasn't. That night, I drove by our old apartment. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't help myself. Through the 4th floor window, I saw them, David and Sarah, cooking together in our kitchen. She was laughing at something he said, and he looked happy, lighter than I'd seen him in years. My phone rang, unknown number. I answered anyway. Emma. David's voice, but different, colder. David, I've been trying to call. Stop. He interrupted. Stop calling. Stop driving by the apartment. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I just want to talk. To explain. There's nothing to explain. You made your choice. Now live with it. David, please. I made a mistake. I love you, he laughed, a sound without humor. You know what's funny. This divorce is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm happier now than I've been in years. Turns out you were the problem all along. The cruelty of that truth destroyed me more than any anger could have. I hope you find what you're looking for, Emma. Whatever it was that made you risk everything we had. David, goodbye. The line went dead, and I sat in my car outside our old life, watching him build a new one without me. I hit rock bottom on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 months after that night. Mr. Harrison called me into his office again. Emma, we need someone reliable, and you're not that person anymore. I'm sorry. We're letting you go. 3 months after Ryan, I was jobless, homeless. Melissa had finally asked me to leave broke and completely alone. I moved back to my childhood hometown, to my Aunt Carol's basement. At 32 years old, I was sleeping on a fold-out couch surrounded by boxes of Christmas decorations. The humiliation was crushing. I deleted all my social media after seeing endless photos of David and Sarah together. They were traveling to Paris, visiting art galleries, doing all the things David and I had stopped doing years ago. I learned her full name from mutual friends, probably sent me updates just to hurt me. Sarah Mitchell, interior designer, 30 years old, gorgeous, talented, and from everything I could see, genuinely kind. She was everything I should have been. My days became a blur. I worked at a retail store for minimum wage, came home, and stared at the basement ceiling until exhaustion finally let me sleep. 8 months after our divorce was finalized, I saw the Instagram post that broke me. David had proposed to Sarah. The ring was stunning, an emerald, cut diamond, far more elaborate than the simple solitaire he'd given me. The caption read, "Sometimes life takes away what's wrong to make room for what's right. Sarah, you've shown me what real love is. Forever starts now." I ran to the bathroom and vomited. When I could finally breathe again, I looked at myself in the mirror. Thin, gray-skinned, dead-eyed. I didn't recognize the woman staring back. The next day, I was buying groceries when I saw him. Ryan, with a young blonde woman hanging on his arm, laughing at something on her phone. Our eyes met for a brief second. I saw recognition flicker across his face, then he looked away and kept walking, pretending he'd never known me. The man I destroyed my life for erased me in real time. That night, standing in my aunt's basement, surrounded by the few possessions I had left, I finally understood. I did this to myself. Every single consequence, every loss, every moment of pain. I'd chosen this path. I'd walked through that hotel room door. I'd betrayed the man who'd loved me, and now I was paying the price, one devastating day at a time. The cruelest twist came in a cream-colored envelope with my aunt's address written in elegant script. Grace had sent me David's wedding invitation. Inside was a handwritten note. "Emma, I'm sending this so you can see what you threw away. David deserves the happiness you couldn't give him. Please don't contact our family again." I didn't attend, obviously, but mutual friends sent photos anyway, probably to hurt me, maybe out of some twisted sense that I deserved to see what I'd lost. The ceremony was at a vineyard, intimate and elegant. Sarah wore a designer gown that probably cost more than my car used to be worth. David looked genuinely happy. Not the forced smile from wedding photos, but real, radiant joy. Thomas was the best man. Someone had filmed a speech and posted it online. "To my brother," he said, raising his glass, who had to lose everything to find what he really deserved. "And to Sarah, thank you for showing him what it means to be truly loved." The implication was clear. I hadn't truly loved David. Maybe they were right. I started therapy the week after seeing those photos. Dr. Martinez was kind but direct. "Emma, why do you think you cheated?" "I don't know. I felt neglected." "Lonely. Lots of people feel lonely in marriages. They don't all cheat. What made you make that choice?" I didn't have an answer, not then, but over weeks and months of sessions, the truth emerged. I'd been insecure, terrified that David was too good for me, afraid he'd eventually see my flaws and leave, so I'd sabotaged it first before he could hurt me. That's a common pattern. Dr. Martinez said, self-destructive behavior rooted in fear of abandonment. So I destroyed my marriage because I was afraid of losing him. That's insane. It's human. Deeply flawed, but human. One evening, I wrote a letter to David, not to send Dr. Martinez said I needed to do it for myself, not for him. "David, I'm sorry." Not the shallow "I'm sorry I got caught" apology, but a real, devastating understanding of what I destroyed. "You were a good husband. You were loyal and kind, and you deserved so much better than what I gave you. I cheated because I'm broken, not because you weren't enough. You were always enough. I was the problem. I hope Sarah makes you happy. I hope you have beautiful children and a long life together. I hope you never think about me at all. You deserve to be free of the pain I caused. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Emma." I sealed the letter in an envelope and put it in my drawer. I'd never send it. It wasn't about it forgiving me. It was about me finally taking responsibility without excuses. 2 years after that night, I was rebuilding. I'd gotten a better job, not my old career, but decent work at a marketing Firm in a different city, I had a small apartment, I was paying my bills, basic things that felt like victories after rock bottom. I ran into Melissa at a conference in Boston. She looked the same. Professional and put together. Emma, she smiled, cautious but not unkind. How are you? Better, I said honestly. Not great, but better. We had coffee. She updated me on everyone. David and Sarah had a baby girl last year. Maya, she's beautiful. My chest tightened, but I managed to smile. That's wonderful. He'll be a great dad. He is. And his architecture firm is doing amazing. They just landed a contract for that new museum downtown. Good. He deserves success. Melissa studied me. What about you, are you? Okay, some days. Other days I hate myself for what I did. But I'm in therapy. I'm learning. That's good, Emma. Really, we parted ways with a hug that felt like closure on our friendship. She'd moved on too, and I didn't blame her. The real karmic justice came through the grapevine 2 months later. Ryan had been fired from his photography studio for having an affair with a client's wife. The scandal destroyed his reputation. His girlfriend left him. His career imploded. He'd apparently reached out to several exes, including me, looking for sympathy and a place to stay. I deleted his message without reading it. His destruction didn't undo mine. Karma had found him, but I felt no satisfaction. His suffering didn't heal my pain. I started dating someone new, Michael, a graphic designer I'd met at work. When he asked about my past, I was honest. I was married. I cheated. He divorced me. I lost everything. I'm still dealing with the consequences. I waited for him to run. Instead, he said, "We've all got things we're not proud of. What matters is who you're choosing to be now." Doctor, Martinez suggested I volunteer at a therapy group for people dealing with infidelity. I talked about my experience once a month, hoping my story might stop someone else from making my mistake. It was painful every time, but it felt like the only way to make meaning for my destruction. I was building a new life from the ruins of my old one. Not the life I'd planned, not the life I'd had with David, but a life that was honest at least. A life where I faced what I'd done and tried to be better. It wasn't redemption. Some mistakes don't earn redemption, but maybe it was a start. 5 years after the worst night of my life, I was standing in a bookstore browsing parenting guides for Michael's sister when I saw them. David, Sarah, and a little girl who had to be Maya. She was almost 3, with David's dark eyes and Sarah's smile. My heart clenched, but differently than before. Not with desperate longing, just sadness for what could have been if I'd been a different person. David saw me first. Our eyes met across the aisle, and for a moment, we were frozen. 2 people who'd once promised forever. Sarah noticed next. I saw her body tense, protective. "Emma," David said quietly, "Hi." My voice came out steady. "Progress. Your daughter is beautiful. Thank you," Sarah said, her tone cautious but not hostile. Maya tugged David's hand, oblivious. "Daddy book." I smiled at her, then looked back at David. "I'm glad you're happy." "I mean that." David studied my face, and something softened in his expression. "Are you okay, Emma?" Really, the question surprised me. After 5 years of silence, he still cared enough to ask. "I'm getting there," I said honestly. "I'm not who I was. That person made terrible choices. But I'm trying to be better." Sarah's hand found David's, and I noticed she wasn't threatened by me anymore. I was no longer a danger, just a sad chapter in her husband's past. "I hope you find what you're looking for," David said, and his voice held genuine kindness. Not forgiveness, exactly, but the absence of active anger. "Thank you." I looked at both of them, and "I'm sorry." "I know, I've said it before, but I need to say it again. I'm sorry for everything I destroyed." David nodded, squeezed Sarah's hand, and guided his family toward the children's section. I watched them go. The family that should have been mine if I'd been capable of appreciating what I had. Later that evening, Michael sent photos from his nephew's baseball game. "Wish you were here." And next time, I replied, meaning it. I learned that love isn't just passion and excitement. It's choosing someone every day, especially on boring days. It's showing up. It's honoring your promises. Even when they're hard, I learned by losing everything. I opened my journal and wrote, "Today I saw David and his family. It hurt less than last year. Maybe that's healing. Maybe that's just Numbness, either way, consequences don't expire. That night 5 years ago still shapes my life every day. I can't change what I did. I can't take back the betrayal, but I can make sure that person isn't who I am anymore. Some mistakes don't deserve second chances, but maybe I deserve a second life, not with David. That ship sailed and burned, but with someone who sees this version of me, built from ruins and regret, and thinks I'm worth the risk. I cheated with my ex while my husband was away. I never expected him home that night, but more than that, I never expected one choice to define my entire life. 5 years later, I'm still paying for those hours of weakness. The only difference is I've stopped expecting the debt to be paid in full. Some lessons cost everything. This was mine. I closed the journal, turned off the light, and went to bed. Tomorrow I'd wake up and continue building a life from the ashes of the one I'd burned down. It wasn't the life I'd planned, but it was the life I'd earned, and somehow I had to find a way to be okay with that. The end.